two middles, 5, 6 elementary.
There's about 10 buildings, so she drops her daughter off every day herself.
Front door
Her mother's
open.
at, gosh, 15.
And then she's got my old principal.
She is
Yeah,
a talented person. Of course, Tyler's there too. These boys, he's talented.
Back door open.
Crazy.
Oh, really?
No, this was when we first moved to Michigan. It was a rough area. That was 95.
Okay.
I thought we were moving out, we were going to Detroit and moved up here to Oxford.
What are you delusional?
Well, I know. And I love that we sold the horse down there. Because we were gonna move to Detroit, and I didn't have any place.
No,
Then we were going to Oxford. I'm like, I'm good. It's things that change, aren't they? Living in Oxford.
Wow.
25, 26. Since she, breaks her feet and stuff.
It's like a wonder like that. Oh, I bet.
How's Tom doing? What's he doing?
I know. Well, I did start making some.
Just showing around you.
Well, I've done a little bit of that. But for our boys.
She's 90, so. Okay. Oh.
It's a chore. There's nobody around home. So it's just a chore. Sometimes I get a grandkid. Her last week, Jen came over today. It's like a Friday at a basketball game. And she had the timer on, she needed to kill an hour. So I said, well, we weren't home, and I said, the door's open. But when we got back, she
Your
was
date
in
is shot right
the
next to
game,
the
so.
literally, just go. Dude. You'll have to smell the burning gas. I'm telling you.
Oh, we did get Camry and Lorelei to help us with some stuff. But not at our house, so. Lorelei.
Front door open.
Yeah.
Alright, 7 o'clock, time to call the meeting. All right, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get up this for us today.
All right, need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
And move second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Police report. We all got a copy, I think.
Yep, there's a copy of the police report in your packet.
Fire report.
So, had a total of 30 runs for last month, 6 fires, 21 medicals, and 3 PIs. 4 of them were in the village. Had 1 downwired, which was one of the fires, and then 3 medicals in the village. As far as fires, ran assist to Hadley, 2 downwires, a standby at Oxford, and 2 officer calls, and a CO alarm.
Thank you. Good work. County Commissioner.
This is going to be my final commissioner report to you. Thank you in good hands with Lloyd Walker as your next county commissioner. This last week we had our committee of the whole, final committee of the whole for our board. A lot of stuff to get done before the end of the year is a full agenda. Approved our annual agreement for MSU extension for fiscal year 2025. In the amount of $103,140. That covers the 4-H program, food safety programs, and a host of other trainings and things that they do, programs for farmers around the county. We get a lot of value out of that. So that's an annual agreement that we usually do. Approved payment to Mott Community College for police academy training for some sheriff's recruits. That training cost $11,850. Authorized payment to an outfit called Lexipol in the amount of $37,5250. This is for MCOL's training for all sheriff's deputies that are certified road patrol. State of Michigan requires annual training. That's what this was for. Approved an agreement to purchase online staff training through Virtual Academy Solutions for $27.94. This is continuing training for our central dispatch staff, and this will help reduce the need to send them to in-person trainings, which will help save the county money and time away from the job for our dispatchers. Also approved new communications officer training through Public Safety Change Makers in the amount of $11,000. As part of this program, it helps determine whether a new person coming into dispatch is suited for that job, so that they don't put them through an entire program and find out it's not going to work out. This software helps evaluate them early on to help avoid any waste of time or training or anything like that. Approved contracts for our GIS maintenance and Fetch GIS along with the fee access license agreement. This is the part of the new GIS program that the Treasurer's Office is putting together for the county. Drain Commissioner, our outgoing Drain Commissioner had a request to adopt some new rules and fee schedule for the Drain Office. We tabled that request because with him only having 2 weeks left in his term and a new guy coming in, Andy Wagner, that really should be left up to the new Drain Commissioner how he wants to run this office. It was noted that these items that the current Drain Commissioner wanted to update haven't been done since 1990, and why do it with 2 weeks left in his term? So we left that to the new Drain Commissioner. We tabled that. Approved a request by CMH to purchase carpeting in the amount of $29.80 for the lower level of the Rich Building. This is for the relocation of the Community Mental Health Children's Department, currently housed at Maple Grove. That Maple Grove building is not in the greatest of shape. They're paying to lease it from the school, the Lapeer School District, and they're eventually trying to get out of there. So the first program that they're taking out of the Children's Department. Accepted changes to the bylaws of Lapeer County Veteran Services to reflect the name change from Veteran Affairs to Veteran Services. Approved and authorized the Drain Office to purchase a drain ledger software. This is due to a loss of the current vendor. They're no longer doing that part of the business. Drain office work is very specialized. There's a real small handful of companies that even are in that business, so it makes it difficult. Accepted a bid from BSNA Software for the new accounting software for the county, including setup and first year subscription. Big one is $170,000 paying for with our county's ARPA funds. And reason we're doing this is our current vendor, it's one guy, it's very proprietary software. Eventually this guy's gonna retire, and we don't wanna be left in the lurch with the county's main accounting software and not having somebody that can maintain it or fix issues with it. So it's time to move on and get a mainstream vendor. There are many, many counties across the state that use BSNA. It's very highly rated. So we're going with that for the county. And we approved the purchase of equipment to outfit 4 new Dodge Durango police vehicles for the sheriff's department in the amount of $55,731, also being paid for with our county's ARPA funds. And then the last thing, we adopted a draft resolution in support of the Convention of States project. If you don't know what that is, it's a national project working on trying to get resolutions passed in 38 states to call for a Convention of States to propose amendments to the U.S. Constitution regarding congressional term limits, balanced budget amendment, and it's got about 20 states so far that have passed resolutions and they're still working on it. We support it. I think the federal government needs some enforced restraint, but they still got a long way to go. They may never get there, but it's just we support it. And that's all I've got. I want to thank everybody for being gracious to me for the last 2 years and for giving me the privilege of serving the residents of Metamora. And it was a pleasure, and I hope you thought I did a good job, and should be in good hands with Mr. Rice here.
Thank you.
Do you have a projection on when the GIS program will be up and running again?
Just hoping to have it, at least the framework in place by January.
Because we're one of the few counties right now that you can't actually really get aerial photographs and things like that, with parcels drawn on them already. It's a really important service, so.
Yeah, it's been quite a lot of people have been asking, wanting that, so, it's coming soon. Already got, new, equipment coming in to support it, software's, purchased under contracts, just gotta get all that set up and should be ready to go in the next month or two.
Okay, planning commission.
Nothing was on the agenda again. I'm getting used to it.
There was, but we are actually addressing it down below, your terms and slate of officers.
Okay. And the goopy uppy in the calendar.
Yeah. It's correct for ours.
DDA.
Well, we're looking at getting some, bag holders for, animal feces. We'd like to put one here, and then we would like to put one up at, towards at the end of the balloon launch into the trails, just because we're having a problem. Nick and a lot of people are noticing that more and more people are just going down there and when you walk down there. So, we're hoping maybe that might help. If you've never seen them, you just pull out a bag, and there's actually like a little dumping station on the bottom. So looking at maybe getting like 2, possibly 3 of them. Just trying to help alleviate the problem that's going on. And then we're waiting for the reports to come back for the sewer, to see what else. That was it.
County report, everything down below or something new?
Everything's down below.
Council communications. communications.
We did have the sewer lagoon sludge judged, waiting on the findings for that. Sorry, that's what it's called when they sample the depth of the sludge in the bottom of the sewers. And they do sampling on what kind of material it is, if there's any kind of hazardous material, anything like that. So if it does have to be removed, they can know where it can be applied, if it can be land applied, if it has to be hazardous, specialty removal or not. So we are just waiting on the final information on that, and F&B is working on the water study. They're doing additional iron testing. The engineers estimate that we should have everything finalized to us by February, no later.
Seems like they've been dragging their feet on that a little bit.
Well, I think it's because we started doing additional testing, so they wanted to incorporate that into it.
Didn't one of the main guys get injured?
Blair, their main guy, fell off a ladder hanging up Christmas lights, so they, are moving a little slow.
Did we know
Didn't
when,
anybody know why?
Right.
when we can expect the report on the?
I would estimate any time. Yeah. They've been pretty quick with responding back to us and everything, so it's in any moment, I would,
Has it ever been done?
no. So we can pretty much guess that we're probably gonna have to have the sludge removed. So,
That's a kind of a given.
yes. So,
Septic tank's gotta be pumped in
Right.
every now and then, you know.
so that's where we're at on those two items.
Notes on council communications. Take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Then move and second it to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Public time.
Hard to know where to start today because there's just so much in your packets. I will say that when Chief Davis was here last month, no one asked him any questions, and it seems like with all the stuff that's going on here in the village, it would have been great if you guys would have asked him some. Is that child sex crime that happened in the village here, is that being prosecuted? Is anything else being prosecuted here? There have been assaults on an officer here, drug advertising in the village, and then this month it was reported as larceny, and that it looks like suspicious circumstances is out. Like, it just would be great to get answers on this, because you can think, well, we don't want to put our dirty laundry out there, but when people find out that you haven't been honest about serious things that have happened, it's a whole lot worse for everybody. So, gosh, I hope that water extension finally goes somewhere. I feel like we go backwards instead of forwards. I mean, how many percentage points did we move forward this year? Not much, and it's been, again, over 3.5 years. For the DDA and Planning Commission appointments, I wish that, as you guys said those, we would get the qualifications of the people. Even if you're reappointing them, the qualifications, why they want to serve, why you picked them, versus just John Clark saying, I think they'd be good. I think we in the public deserve that kind of thing. All right, I'll start in on the complaints now. So, and was anyone around Saturday night? I happened to pop out to the store Saturday night, and what I discovered is that Harmer Park was a parking lot. There were all kinds of vehicles going in and out in there. They were going right by the Porta-John over there. They were coming in from the other side. 15 vehicles is what I counted in there, and I've got photos for you. So you've got that complaint in there. As you all know, Harmer Park is not to be used for parking per the deed. And it was really quite dangerous. I don't even know how some of these people got those cars where they got them. There's that one. The first complaint in your file and the second one relate to the caroling and tree lighting that happened on December 5th. I didn't even know that was going to go on again. I happened to be leaving my house, and I happened to get stuck with the carolers coming at me on Center Street. And so I got it all on my dash cam. And so it was a fire truck, and then it's people walking, and then it was a bunch of UTVs. And then boom, there's the township fire and police UTV. And who is inside those UTVs, including the fire police one, the township one? Children, okay? Children are not supposed to be in UTVs. They do not meet the size requirements. Anyone riding in that particular UTV, because I've looked up the manual and I know this, is supposed to be wearing a helmet. No one was wearing a helmet. That UTV is not supposed to be used on public streets and roads. It is not supposed to be driven on pavement. Per the manufacturer of that vehicle, it says serious risk of injury and death if it's used in that way. Again, no chill, and it's been modified. It's been modified to become more top-heavy, which makes it even more unstable on roads. Makes it more unstable in general, but it's particularly dangerous on roads. On top of that, December 5th was a snow day, right? Anybody go on the roads? I did. It was a snow day that day. It was really quite slippery. And I've got dash cam footage of me driving around that day, even after the procession went through, and the streets here were icy and snowy. That, to me, is 5 points of negligence for the township, and you guys cannot be allowing that stuff. To me, that is child endangerment, it's child neglect. I've got the definitions in your packets that I pulled from the CPS manual of child neglect, and to me, that absolutely meets it. You should not be allowing that here. They shouldn't be doing it. I call for psychological evaluations of those folks, and I definitely mean it. If that is your huge blind spot, is you cannot see that you endanger children when acting that way, then you shouldn't be in a place of public safety, because this wouldn't be allowed other places. And then when I presented that last Monday, Chief Brady said, oh, school was canceled because of the temperature. School was absolutely not canceled because of the temperature. School was canceled because of the road conditions, and even the afternoon and evening activities were all canceled because of the road conditions. So you cannot cover these things up by trying to rewrite history, because all the history is out there. So, and that went out and as an official invite. You know, the Murphy students, the second graders were out there. That sets a really terrible example for them. I'll get to the rest later. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was impromptu. We found out about it when we saw a flyer. I didn't know anything about the second graders coming to.
Who planned it?
A mother of a second grader, I guess.
Or the
It wasn't the actual school itself. Like
Previous days, they pretty much quit to do it.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it was the official fire department invite.
Okay, can I say something? I do wanna let you know that Murphy Elementary School, nor Lapeer School District did approve of the caroling at all. It was all parent organized, no teachers were involved at all. The students' children, the parents' children were invited, and it was up to the parents to bring them and have them come. Okay, had nothing to do with the school district at all. Okay, it was parent involvement only. Okay, and it was, all invite through social media, private invite. Okay, just so you know. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Any other public time? Unfinished business, water main extension.
A number of months ago, we had a lengthy meeting with a large number of representatives from the Southern Group, from EPA, and Eagle, from the state, and the big hang up is we have asked for a cushion, financial cushion to be put in place because of liability concerns with the project. And they argued over what the conditions would be for release of the money from it. We left that meeting with them saying we'll prepare a proposed escrow account. And they've been telling EPA that and us that for about 4 months now, and we still haven't seen an escrow agreement from them that they proposed. I don't know how many different companies they have involved, but it's a significant number of companies, and I'm sure it's a bit like herding cats, so, but we haven't seen anything from them.
This thing has been dragging on way too long.
Are they trying to outrun the EPA rulings?
Right. Well, this is kind of covered up quietly, I think.
That sounds like what it's coming to, the EPA told them,
Right, the letter.
to this date, you're gonna drag your.
I know it's dragging on, but why doesn't council think it over, next meeting, maybe we'll
Put a
try to put some
deadline
kind
on
of a
it.
deadline on it.
Can we do?
I mean, that's just my, we're not obligated to have to
Right.
do it to them, we're trying to do it to help out, you know.
Well, the
But we
deadline,
want to make sure too that it's not gonna hurt the village or ever cost the village any money, that's part of the cushion that we're trying to put in place.
Right.
if there were a deadline, it would be on negotiating an amendment to the existing agreement. We've already signed an existing agreement, but the amendment would be, if you were going to do it, what we would put a deadline on.
Okay.
Well, another thing I've been Are we just pissing in the wind because it'll go nowhere?
That's a question for Eagle, because they're the primary, they're the ones that actually issue the license for the water on these kinds of major public water sources. They absolutely told us in one of the earliest meetings that that is absolutely not their preference. Their preference was, of course, that the village take over the whole system and run it. And we said, every computer model we ran showed us going bankrupt, and I said, we're not gonna do that. We're a village of about 500 people. We cannot take on that responsibility and not project that we're gonna run everything into the ground. So they seem to accept that. They're the ones that seem to be pushing for it to get done. I can't imagine that they're gonna take the position when we get to the end of the road that, well, this whole thing is fundamentally flawed, we won't accept it. I'm sure it's not their preferred, a dead-end system, I'm sure is not their preferred system.
Anything else on water extension? New business, EDA term.
Well, EDA has 2 members whose terms are expiring on December 31st of this year. Victor Zanowegwitz, I don't know if I said that right, but, and Leah Gabella. Both of them have, I believe, expressed that they'd like to stay on if they could get reappointed. But it's obviously council's decision and your decision if you nominated them again or not.
Well, what's the council want to do on this?
Well, technically, you have to nominate and then the council has to vote.
That's right, I forgot about that. Kind of a little different than,
Right.
well,
Victor and Leah.
Leah, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know Leah was up already.
Yeah, 'cause she did a partial.
Right, she's done a partial.
Yeah.
Are there any other people that are interested?
Not that I have heard, I don't know. They never have anybody else at their meetings.
The only ones who really make the meetings are from the historical
Historical
society.
Society,
They
yeah.
stay pretty much in touch with them. Well, I guess I'll nominate both for,
Somebody has to second his nomination?
At least,
they can do them one at a time, though, instead of both together.
Okay.
Victor first, I guess.
Is there a second for Victor's nomination?
I will.
Is there a second for Leah's nomination?
I will.
And then does it have to go to an actual vote of the board or is that?
yes, it should.
Okay. Then we need a motion to approve both nominations or do them separately.
Let's do second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Victor first. Would anybody like to make the motion to accept the nomination for Victor to be reappointed to fill another term?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded to reapprove Victor's position on the DDA. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then
Okay.
Leah.
Yep, is there a motion to accept Leah's nomination?
I'll make that motion.
Moved and seconded to appoint Leah for another term.
Front door open.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Much else on PDA, really, was there?
No.
Okay, next on the agenda, planning commission terms and slate of officers.
Well, 3 terms are up for the planning commission. You have William Gay, whose term is up, Mike Phillips, and Teresa De Giovanni. So we'll do that first before we go on to the slate of officers.
Can
Can I ask a question?
They were. But we usually just accept their slate of officers. Do we have to?
Sure, no, that's
Okay.
really their decisions.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Lloyd?
How are these terms up in 2025 and 2024? Or
Front Open.
2025, right? Okay.
So this January,
Yeah, so mine's up in January.
so these people are.
No.
late.
That's the way it reads.
No. Sorry.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
I have the water on, it's supposed to not be January. The terms that are up are William Gay, Mike Phillips, and Teresa Giovanni. And whether you're gonna
Need a
be.
motion to approve them?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Then move and second it to extend their terms.
And I'll fix the
Yeah.
bump. Sorry.
All in
Do
favor?
better.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nothing, he said we don't have to do the slate of officers, so.
That means we vote on it.
Nope, he said we don't have to.
Good, nothing else on the plan, we determined everything, we'll move to meeting schedule.
Well, in front of you, you have a copy of the meeting schedule. It has with the DDA and the planning commission for them to make any of their cancellations or changes that they normally do. The DDA canceled their January meeting. It's one they cancel every single year. And then in September, they changed their meeting from the 2nd to the 9th due to it being the day after Labor Day. And planning commission went ahead and already canceled their July meeting. So everything else is the normal schedule. Third Monday of the month, 7 o'clock for us, DDA first Tuesday of the month at noon, and planning commission first Tuesday at 7. So, we don't usually vote on it, but.
On their schedule?
Right, but on ours we do, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make that motion to accept the 2025 meeting dates.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So move and seconded, approve the meeting schedule, 2025. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Just one more public time.
So while Murphy and the school district, it may not have been a school district event that happened here with the caroling and the tree lighting, the schools did, as in your packet I documented, did share that it was happening and that Murphy students had been invited here. So that's not the school district's fault. They don't know the safety issues here. But I will be certainly telling them what happened here and encouraging them not to be involved with things that go on here until safety issues get fixed, because this is just ridiculous. So one of the complaints in your packet relates to more events that have happened here with event or special event applications that are just missing all kinds of information, not fully filled out. And the, I'll pass around an example, by the way. And what I want you to note is for one of these events, the equestrian events that have happened out here, 3 of them this year, the last one was on the 23rd of November, I asked Tina for the insurance certificate. And she could not answer that with my FOIA. She said that the file had gone blank. She sent it to me today. Take a look at the date, 12/12/24. Looks like they bought it on Thursday. So I still don't have the insurance certificate that would have been in effect when they had those events. But you can see very sparse applications, just like Country Days. Did not answer the questions. You've got a checklist they're supposed to write up on a separate sheet of paper. I can tell you if I were doing that event, I would absolutely go through and I'd say, okay, so the restrooms are going to be in the old town hall. Those are going to be available to everybody. I would have it drawn where the vendors are going to be, pretty approximately, but pretty good. A layout, walk through the flow, because here's a picture of that event when I drove by. This is what inspired me to FOIA that. You've got a tractor, you got a big trailer in the way. I can't see how, as a pedestrian, I would walk across the street and go into there. Like, it should be very clear. It should be big, wide aisles when you go to an event like that, because you never know what's going to happen. So that's why it's important. It's important to, number one, completely redo that event application. because it is subpar when you compare it to every other municipality that I've ever been to and every other municipality around here that I pulled them and provided them to you. We need a new one. We need liability language. We need review from the council for all of these events, because none of these events were reviewed by the council. So what is the criteria that things just slide through? Slide through past you guys, and is Tina qualified to review these events? Because I would argue absolutely not, based on what I've seen here. And again, we don't have a fire marshal here in Metamora, so we don't have someone with the knowledge that I worked with everywhere else around the country who knows how to set up events. And so it's just like, I know things have just always gone on this way in Metamora, and I should just shut up and let them keep going. But what I see constantly are safety issues. So, and I pointed out in that complaint, there was sailing parade, all of that stuff, that was all just inadequate. When you look at the two insurance certificates, they have very different amounts on them. What are the conditions? Because all of the other municipalities have, hey, you have to have this much insurance for this much insurance for that. So it's just pretty amazing. Here are the photos that go along with the ORV complaint this year, or this month. Still going strong into November and December. Usually it slows down. I don't have to keep pulling that SD card out of my dash cam, but you got vehicles on the sidewalk, you got vehicles completely blocking the sidewalk. My personal favorite was on the caroling night when there was a golf cart out at 6:21, so long past the curfew, on the ice and snow, blocking the sidewalk at the General. That is pretty amazing. So whoever did that, not very smart. Tina, there's a complaint in there about the FOIAs. I don't think you're doing the FOIAs right. You should have sent me an extension when you didn't have the information you needed. It is a federal law. It's not something you want to mess with. It's just amazing. I didn't have time to add up all the incidents yet this year, and they're ongoing, so I might as well just do it in the beginning of January, but I'll have those next time. Again, I strongly believe it's going to be more than last year. All the ORV incidents and golf cart incidents and people parking on the sidewalk and parking illegally and all over the place. I just want to see order. I want to see people following laws rather than making their own, because this is not a sovereign nation, as much as people would like it to be. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Going with the public time, I'd entertain one more motion.
A second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Everybody have a very Merry Christmas.
See you guys later.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Front.